Welcome to another CEO Wisdom podcast. We have Munib Karavdic with us today. Maybe I didn't pronounce that right, at least I tried. He's CEO at Wave Design. It's a cool company. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of interesting topics, namely customer experience, customer acquisition, teamwork, negotiation, everything between. We're also going to talk about Munib's background, which is quite colorful indeed. This pod is brought to you by podpire.com. That's my podcasting company. If you want to start, scale, be invited to podcasts or monetize podcasting, you can go to podpire.com. Munib, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and tell me a bit more about Wave.
Well, nice to be with you, Charles, and thank you for your invitation. So just quick background myself. I've been in kind of industry and innovation for more than 35 years. In parallel to that, I've been professor at university, which was my kind of second job or hobby, teaching MBA students and passing my learnings from industry and the experiments that I did in industry and share with my students. And I'm dad, two beautiful girls, and so that's my life in short. And Wave is the design innovation company where we want to help companies, especially established companies, to drive innovation and then also navigate innovation through their organization. And that was my learning from working in industry, that a lot of companies have a desire to innovate, but they kind of have a challenges how to navigate innovation through the organization, but also deliver them. And that's the whole point, delivering innovation.
Right. Well, tell me about your first startup. Seems that it was called GET. And then you founded some other companies, but tell me how you got started in this entrepreneurial world.
Well, it's quite, I'm really pleased, surprised that you actually dig that one. The GET, it's kind of started because of the war in Bosnia. I had a kind of an ambition back in Sarajevo to establish my own company. And because of the war, I ended up as a refugee in Norway. And then while I was a refugee, I met a couple of very interesting people who were keen to push kind of some startups and some businesses. And we established this GET, which we called the General European Trade, which where we were playing like, agents of kind of selling commodities. And so that was a kind of business, and that business still exists, but not in selling commodities. It's kind of doing some other activities.
There you go. And that led to other activities. You eventually become a professor. So why the professorship? Why did you get interested in teaching the next generation?
Well, so, I came to Australia to finish my PhD, and that was my kind of mission and ambition. So, and then I started a topic which was back in 1996, which is e-commerce. And at that time, only a few companies in Australia had a website. So we still haven't immersed ourselves in the internet activities. And I started actually building this kind of and contributing to potential e-commerce theories, which didn't exist and still doesn't exist at the moment. So, what I found interesting that kind of the way that we go through the e-commerce is, and my research also confirmed that if we want to move from physical world into digital world enabled by internet, we need to reimagine what we are offering. Like we need to reimagine the services, we need to imagine product experience and things like that. And the best example for that would be search. So in the past, when we did a search, we had to go to library, go to find the index card, and then go to find the book on the shelf, and then find what we want to actually read and things like that. And today world is completely different. You just have a phrase, or even better with ChatGPT, with AI, you don't need even that. So they will answer this. So this is what I meant, reimagining some certain need that people need to do. So, and then when I finished my PhD, there was kind of dilemma. Should I continue at university or should I go back or continue with the business? And because I was doing part-time PhD and full-time job in the industry. So, and I decided that I would go to back industry, continue with industry engagement, and then establish the subject that I align with my job and to share my learnings from industry and from corporate world to my students. And then I've been doing that for 20 years. And that was my mission to create a bridge between industry and academia. And I must say, after 20 years, it is a bloody hard job, at least here in Australia. Some other countries are doing better, like in the US or European countries, but in Australia, we have a very clear division between industry and academia.
Right. And what problems have you seen in your students when they try to start a venture? What are they struggling with?
Well, so as every ventures, when they start doing stuff, the key challenge here is in relation to an understanding of the problem or what's problem their solution is trying to resolve. So, and then we teach students to jump very quickly into solution mode in kind of traditional way of doing business. So just give them execution, and students say, well, this is a great idea, let's go with that. So then a time after, so they realize that people they're not actually solving the right problem for their potential customers. And that's number one problem. Number two is obviously they need more support. And I can see universities are building these accelerators within universities and then establish this network of support from academic personnel, from professors. And that's the right way of pushing these things and helping them, mentoring them, going through the process. And then the third one is corporate world is not kind of equipped, and corporate world is not designed in the way to understand the startups. And when they talk to these people, they can help a lot and keep them to some extent independent, but later on to decide where to go. But I think as soon as corporate world kind of acquire the startup or see this is a good idea, that will disappear. So because of this non-readiness for accepting smaller unit within the organization.
Right. Tell me a bit more about Wave and who you target, at what price point. Give me a bit more information about your product market fit.
Yeah, so look, Wave was born on my corporate, or 25 years of my corporate experience. So I've been in corporate world, top 20 publicly listed companies in Australia, and navigated innovation through them, delivered innovation in these organizations. And I found that was kind of quite interesting that a lot of companies, as I mentioned earlier, struggling with that. So how to get a fruition from innovation. So, and then I decided to give up corporate world, kind of nice, comfortable senior position, and go through this kind of uncertain world, establishing the company, which a lot of people say, well, there are plenty of these companies like yours in the market. So what I believe that our strength is first we can solve the problems for companies. And when people ask me which industry you're focusing on, we are kind of industry neutral, we're agnostic. We can go and help people in any industries and any businesses, including governments and things like that. But the way how we do it is we walk in and immerse ourselves in the company, but with internal subject matter experts, and asking them to be part of the team. And companies has to commit these subject matter experts. We upskill them to the level that they understand how human-centered design function, and I believe this is the human-centered design is key enabler of innovation. And then people start actually this journey with us. And the main reason for that is that when we solve the problem, usually the nitty-gritty aspects will be could be screwed up later on if there are not people who originally started with this. That's why it's essential for companies to have their subject matter experts to continue work when we leave the organization. That's and then number 2 priority is to help organizations to navigate. A lot of companies saying that we have plenty of ideas and then we don't know what to do with them. And that's the catch, because they don't have a clear strategy how to drive innovation. They just have a strategy to bring ideas. But what you're going to do, how you navigate, how you govern them, how you fund them, how you measure results, who you engage there. And that's the entire concept, what I call that entrepreneurship. And that's the subject that I used to teach at my MBA to my MBA students. Entrepreneurship is this is the kind of more internal or corporate entrepreneurs driving innovation in the organization. And then third mission was I wanted actually to establish and ground with the wave that we will be magnet for good talents, design innovation talents who will be able to come in and express themselves and shine as great designers or creative people who know how to help businesses and organizations or government to drive innovation and change.
So, okay, let's take human-centered design first. What is it? Why is it important?
Well, there are a lot of definitions of human-centered design, and then for your audience, I will simplify that. So the human-centered design is the discipline that is actually enabling the driving solutions in the interest of people, human. Obviously, as a human is in the title. But the whole point here is not just to go and say, we will do whatever people ask us, customers ask us. And a lot of people quote Steve Jobs and saying, we don't actually, people don't know what they want. We are here. And that's the kind of, we need to unpack this, because what happened, we don't actually just go and ask people, what do you want? We go and look at the emotional aspects. We are looking for deep kind of understanding of the challenges that people are dealing with and problems. And we interpret in our own creative way. And that's the kind of point of human-centered design, how you create this, how you find this pattern which will lead you and stimulate and inspire people to think about solving the problem in some way. But then you're looking from that perspective, from end user perspective or customer human. But on the other side, you need to put into place, is it kind of possible to do that? How much technology we need? Is it legal? You know, what's the legal environment? So we call this desirability aspect. We need to figure out if that kind of what people desire is a feasibility aspect, sorry. So is this feasible? And then once we find it is feasible in some way, or we need to do small corrections to it, then we will go and negotiate with the desirability aspect, like, go in front of people in the form of prototype and say, hey, how would you deal with these things? And then people will tell us what they think. And then we start modifying that desirability aspect as well as feasibility aspect. And then in the end, we need to make sure that this is actually creating value. It could be monetary, it could be satisfaction, it could be any kind of value for end users as well as for people who provide that service. So which means that we need to figure out good balance between desirability, feasibility, and viability. And that's the essence of human-centered design. And in my view, a lot of companies are talking about innovation, but it is very kind of abstract word until you say how you're going to innovate. And in my view, the human-centered design is great foundation to start thinking about how you deliver innovation in the organization.
Right. And entrepreneurship, how do you stimulate that in businesses? Why wouldn't these folks go start their own business?
So, I think in nature, people are creative. And when I was teaching creativity and innovation subject, and I talked to my students about that there is a kind of research and theory that people are more or less born very creative. So, and then what happened as we grow, we kind of run out of creativity. We were pushed to go out of creativity and go narrow down our focus to the point that you might be whatever, an accountant or a marketer or engineer or something like that. And we narrow down this. And then what we do, we mechanically go and do our work. So, and the companies are actually, they lack these people because they have some certainty of repetition, and repetition is very important, which is important for delivering the outcomes. And as what people call that, to have a well-oiled machine. However, a lot of people would contribute more to those well-oiled machines if they are asked to express to some extent their creativity. Of course, you don't actually want your plane pilot to be creative. So you want to have a very clear procedure, follow procedure, and repeat that procedure every time. But you won't have a pilot to be creative when you get in danger. When you get in danger, when a guy landed plane on Hudson River. So that was the creativity. So and when the moment is critical, you use that. So, and then what I'm saying here is that the question here is for companies how to harness their people creativity. And then the way to do that is establish this process, which will give people a very clear picture how they can kind of express that creativity and what would be the outcome of their creativity and how they contribute. Because a lot of people are disengaged, and you read a lot of research, academic, commercial, that people are not engaged. And people are not engaged. The main reason is they don't see they are making an impact in the organization, especially organizations with 400,000 people, for example. They don't see that. But if they can see on the small micro level that their idea can thrive and get outcome, it is kind of something between people. And that's why entrepreneurship is important as a philosophy, that you stimulate people's thinking in the organization to come up with these kind of creative ideas and drive them through the organization without being kind of in danger or risking their jobs, or being in danger, risking that people are saying, these are strange people, we don't want to talk to them. So it's very important conceptually to accept the kind of notion of entrepreneurship within the organization. It is necessity. And I'm not the one who invented this term. So the guy who actually reaffirmed that term was Steve Jobs. When he was fired from Apple and went to establish Pixar Studio, he came back and he said, what I didn't understand that Apple grew into very successful company, and I didn't navigate properly internally and didn't navigate properly my stakeholders. And that's the point of entrepreneurship. You move from entrepreneurship because it's in a small team and making decisions very easily, while you have a very complex organization with a lot of legacy, how you navigate that in the way that you still be creative and then inspire other people to follow you.
So you're running this company, you're doing other stuff as well. What are your top priorities for this year, Munib?
Well, this is a very good question. We just had a discussion last week. We started discussion about we defined the priorities before, but we are now talking about how to execute these priorities. One of the key priorities for this year is how we embed human-centered design and AI, artificial intelligence, into organizations, help organizations to embed them. So, but we have two kind of levels here. One is how we embed AI into our process when we go and solving the problem for our clients and customers. So, because effectively, we were just doing some interesting project, and then the project was kind of requiring some video, kind of voiceover video going through, a very short video. And what we did in order to get our client approval, we prototyped this video with using AI as a voiceover. And then we did it several times. It was very easy to do that. And once we have a client happy with what's the story, and then what voiceover is saying in this video, now we are recording a real person. So it's saying, you see, instead of actually having real person testing all the time, we leverage AI, and now we are going to, so this is what we try. This is our priority, how to embed AI to simplify and make much more effective job what we do. And the second priority is how we can help companies not to jump very quickly, because there are a lot of hype about AI, And a lot of people say, well, AI is solution for everything. What we're saying is that it is first you go understand the problem, and then this is exactly what human-centered design is practicing. So understand the problem, talk to people, and then figure out what would be the impact that AI could create on your people, on your customers, and your organization. And then we prototype this before we say that's what we need to do with AI, because it's very dangerous to jump very quickly and saying, and that's my biggest concern with AI is that a lot of businesses, because they are just focusing on shareholder value, which I think is kind of absolutely wrong by definition. Focusing just on shareholder value is actually driving, give me profit, reduce the number of people, and AI will do it for me. And this is unfortunate situation, but what we can see with e-commerce as well. And that's why today you can't see a phone number on the company's web page, because they're just hiding. It's very hard to find number because they try to direct traffic online and frustrate people, and people are very unhappy with these services. So that's the kind of thing we want to actually, there's our two main priorities on top of the small one. So we want to actually also build the team and the growth of business as well.
Where can people find out more about you?
Well, we are very transparent what we do on, and everything. All information is on our website. Sometimes because we ask our agencies to test what our clients think about our website and how we can improve this. And we got a message that our clients saying we are too generous sharing a lot of information there. There are a lot of videos, the way how we approach things. And well, there are contact details. We don't hide phone numbers, and people can call us anytime.